evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Pilot Review Show. I am CaptainBladej52, and I am joined this week by some of my merry band of misfit cohorts. We have, off to my immediate left, everyone's favorite crazy Gorn in a dress, and that is TeacherKirby.
Yes, TeacherKirby. Hello. How's it going?
And directly to my immediate right, trying not to freeze off his mobile emitter, it is Artie.
Hello.
And we were actually broadcasting from a Gorn bridge this evening because we figured why not keep with the Dominion theme and whatnot.
A Gorn bridge?
Brain.
Or
what?
Breen. I was distracted by the Gorn fan dance. That is my excuse.
It is very
has
distracting.
to keep warm somehow.
Gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just think, people, that's what I have to put up with when you all aren't here. And even sometimes while you're here. But,
Yeah.
anyways, we do have some interesting stuff to get through this week and whatnot, so let's go ahead and dive into our stuff. And first up, we have our console patch notes for the 22nd. There's, y'all are finally getting caught up with us a little bit. You all have the featured episode, The Renegades Regret. This is one we've had a good little bit of time with now here on PC. And everything, you view the episode from the perspective of Captain Neth Parr to find out why she betrayed her people to save Bajor. As always, it is available to captains level 10 and above, whatnot, and this will also give you the chance to pick up one of those featured episode things, which I believe we'll talk a little bit more about in the Week 1 rewards. But you also get the Constable Secondary Specialization, everything, which is actually pretty cool. It's unique in that it benefits players whether in space or on the ground, whatnot. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we open it up for panel. Some of the general notes and everything seem to be mainly quality of life fixes, some of them, whatnot. One of them is a change to auto attack, now being default to toggle. Everything, so yeah, like I say, quite a few things here. One prevented the full modifier on impulse engines from stacking. So yeah, quite a few fixes here, whatnot. So, yeah, thoughts from the panel on our notes here.
From what I can tell, overall, a lot of them are to simplify things that we've recently had on PC, like the everything old is new, the slight alteration to the behavior of McCoy to prevent certain issues that could hinder the mission progressive, being him moving around the room when you're trying to talk to him most of the time. But along the same line, that looks like they've fixed a lot of that. Other technical issues like, well, typo issues and stuff like that, like undiscovered lockbox broadcast message of the word dreadnought would be instead dead knot. That one I actually quite enjoyed. That was pretty funny. But yeah, that seems very simple. I don't see anything too outrageous. How about you, Teach?
No, I don't see anything too outrageous. I think the space auto attack is something people should be aware of, because sometimes when they change defaults like this, even if you've had it set to something else on purpose, it can change to whatever the default is. So if you're one that has, like I keep mine on toggle non-combat cancel. So I made sure I checked all of my tunes when this happened on PC. So.
But yeah, and just to annoy a certain somebody out there, I have Hershey's Kisses. Chocolates. Just because I know it will annoy that certain person if he's listening and everything. Just for him, you know. But, yeah, like I say, that is a very good one to keep in mind. Now, the Constable spec and whatnot is something to definitely be aware of. They have, I don't think they actually had anything in our blogs. No, they didn't have it in our blogs this week, but basically the Constable spec, it focuses on having an antagonist and everything, so we can kind of touch base on that a little bit really quickly before moving on. And if you're going to be in a longer fight, this is something you might find some use for and everything. But yeah, they have a link to it in their console patch notes for you guys to check out and everything. I've heard some good about it, and then I've heard some people, they don't really care for it. So it's kind of, in my opinion, one of those ones you're either going to like it or you're not. But anyways, that's what we have for our console patch notes. I highly encourage you guys to look through this because there is a lot of stuff here and everything. So, like I say, far too much for us to go through everything in detail, but moving along, we have our Welcome to Season 14.5 blog.
Yes, this is for the console players out there. So, you are now getting Season 14.5. And, sorry if I'm breathing or having a little difficulty. My husband just sprayed a bunch of bug spray, and that smell. I'm sure you guys know, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm taking short breaths here. Okay. So, in one of the most unique episodes of the history of STO, the Renegades Regret. Now, this is an interesting one, because if you've seen it from playthroughs out there, you don't actually play as yourself for the actual combat. You're playing as Captain Vanguard. And it's kind of a flashback thing. Where, where she's telling a story, narrating, and you're going through and acting out what she's talking about. So, quite an interesting experience. To put it to you know, to have. So, yeah, fun for all, though. It is a nice replayable mission, so easy mission, in my opinion. Thoughts? Comments?
I have to agree. It's the mission itself, it's short and sweet. Along with this, you also get the constable stuff, so you get to test that out after you're done with the mission. And there's a whole lot of like small fancy stuff that you get to play around with this new edition before Victory's Life. So, yeah.
Yep, and...
I have one gripe with this mission.
What's that?
I wish, with everything in me, that they had kept that sword as a reward.
I have to agree with that, too. It's a sword.
Yeah.
We'll touch base on that.
Yeah, the sword just looks so great. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of Renegades Regret, we have our Renegades Regret Week 1 rewards.
Yes. Yeah. Basically here for the Week 1 rewards, you first get the Console Science Emitter Refocuser. In addition, the first completion of the mission, you will get the account unlock of the featured episode reward box, which you can either get the Universal Tech Upgrade or the Captain Specialization Point. It's your choice, but I do recommend the Spec Point because now you got the Constable stuff, so now you get to test that out. But more about the console itself. The Emitter Refocuser is a new, unique science console inspired by its Dinkethi design. It passively boosts your Tetrion damage, shield restoration, and drain expertise. So that's a fun one, the little test out there with your Tetrion builds and whatnot.
I think I might have it on me, actually, for anybody that's curious. And I do have it on me, actually.
There you go.
So if anybody is curious as to what it's going to look like on console and everything, now keep in mind the one that I have is upgraded to Mark 14 Epic. But this is an idea of what you can expect. At 14 epic, you're looking at 18.8% Tetrion damage, 37.5 shield restoration, and 18.8 drain expertise. So, not a bad little boost to Tetrion, and it's a pretty decent little console overall.
Yeah, sounds like, to be honest, going the way of that console, you can definitely get your boost out of Tetrion. You can go a little tanky with your shields, and you have another console for your drain specs. It's great.
Mm-hmm. So it's a nice middle-of-the-road console, I guess, is what I'm looking for here. But, yeah. I'm convinced she changes emotes every few minutes.
Yes, I do.
But, and one other thing to keep in mind with your featured episode weekly reward box, keep in mind that while you're gathering these up, we are going to have our Jim Hadar tunes to think about pretty soon too, so you could even save that spec point for them.
Oh yeah, we could.
Yeah.
But speaking of new stuff, we have 2 more additions to the Gamma Vanguard pack. And we have the Jim Hadar EV suit and everything. This is actually a very nice looking suit, you can see here. Everything that is Jim Hadar themed, whatnot, and it says we're adding 2 brand new items to the Vanguard pack, which launches with Victory is Life in June on PC. It says pre-order the pack now or purchase when it goes live, and you will also receive the Jim Hadar EV suit and 3 Jim Hadar Vanguard Bridge officers. The best news is the price of the pack has not changed at all, and those who have already pre-ordered will also receive these items. So yeah, the suit is available for all factions, can be claimed once per character, so it is... I mean, if you're looking for a Jim Hadar themed suit, that's actually a pretty good one. And then you have 3 Jim Hadar Vanguard Bridge officers and everything, and I could say for these bridge officers and everything, from playing around with some of them on Tribble, these Jim Hadar bridge officers are nasty little pieces of work.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully without spoiling too much, is you essentially, when you're with these guys and you've got some of the gear that they're going to be handing you and everything, is you're essentially moving around like you're an elite Rainbow Squad from a Tom Clancy game or something like that. That is what it feels like to me.
And
with these bridge officers.
And to put a bad twist to it, you would have flashbacks of the Dominion War.
And he had to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thoughts from the panel about these things.
I'm happy that the Jim Hadar are now getting their own EV suit, as the rest of the factions do. You have your Federation that look like the ones that you see in First Contact and whatnot, and then you got your Klingon and Romulan one, so it fits. For the bridge officers themselves, I mean, I don't know what they have, honestly, but from what I've seen through Tribble, these guys are going to be beastly. Yeah, it's going to be great to test out everything. So I have to be along the same line there.
Yeah, from what we've seen on Tribble, these things are going to give superior Romulan operatives a run for their money. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if, you know, Fed or Romulan or KDF characters, pure Fed, pure Romulan, pure KDF characters, can use the Jim Hadar Vanguard bridge officers as well.
Oh, they can. This option unlocks once per character per account.
Yes, you're right. See, I did not read it clearly.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for... I mean, even in space, these guys are nasty pieces of work. But I can tell you, if you're somebody that appreciates ground, I'm highly going to recommend these guys. I don't normally recommend stuff for ground. But yeah, they're lasting longer than a lot of my bridge officers are now, and that's saying something.
Yeah, my current bridge officers and my ground setup, if I put that on my Jim Hadar, I will probably never die, ever. It'd be great. I mean, I barely die as it is, but put it now on the Jemadar stuff. These guys are beastly. That's the only word I could ever put to this because of how efficient and how strong they are against any combat, any ground combat. It's great.
Yep. But now that we've taken time to properly fangirl and whatnot over these things, but moving along, we have, leading into our next expansion, a double XP event.
Yes, double XP event for the PC. And, yeah, so this started on Wednesday, May 23rd, and it goes all the way until June 5th at 10 a.m. And players will enjoy twice the experience points. So, yeah, basically everything does double XP, and this bonus will be available for all content that rewards skill points and expertise. So if you have those lockbox duty officer assignments, now's a good time to use them. Get those students up to level 60. If you have ships to level up, now's a really good time to go do some of that. And just a couple Argala runs on Elite will get you there. We'll get those ships leveled up completely.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, like we're saying, this is a... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like we're saying, this is a really good time to get out there and farm stuff, especially leading into the new expansion and everything. If you're somebody, maybe you don't think you're going to level your Jem'Hadar right away, or maybe you want to finish off a certain specialization and everything so you can be free to play your Jem'Hadar tune more, this is something that is going to help you quite a bit. If you've been wanting to level a spec, level ships, whatever it is, this is a very good time to do it. Because they really don't... You don't see too many XP events of this magnitude come around very often. But, anyways, definitely get out there and level everything that you've been after. This is going to be going until June the 5th, whatnot. But, coming up next, we have our PC patch notes for the 24th.
Yes, simply, I'll just read off what we got here. The landing page will now only appear upon login in once per time, you know, like you log in for the first time, that's it. But every time you click the escape key to leave the game or switch characters, it will be there again, but it won't reappear every time you switch characters. So, yay! Resolved an issue which occasionally caused a graphic-related crash when running on Windows 10 operating system. So I'm glad that's fixed for those guys. Let's see. Resolved an issue which was occasionally caused crash-related to change the... this is weirdly worded. To the change to running the game in 64-bit client. And then the last one resolved an issue where some players on laptops saw incorrect-looking textures throughout the game. So, happy, little fixes there. Able to, let people actually play. So there we go. Nothing big. Well, yes, big, but whatever.
But yeah, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Seems like some just basic quality of life stuff, in all honesty. But yeah, definitely do let us know if you're still seeing issues and whatnot. I know I've heard a few select people say they've had some stuff going on with this, so... But, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
As far as that goes, but... just one moment. Checking something. But, anyways, coming up on our next article, we have our Jem'Hadar Vanguard stats and abilities.
Yay!
I know this is one that a lot of people had been looking forward to and everything. This is one that I myself had been looking forward to, whatnot, kind of getting a little more info on the ships, everything. But one of the big things is there is going to be a level 6 Starship Mastery, something that they've not done with any other ships before. And these particular ships, what is going to be unique about this 6th Mastery is initially the Dominion ships are going to be locked to Jem'Hadar type characters only. But if you continue to level the ship, then once you hit that 6th Mastery, you will unlock the ability to reclaim it on your entire account. So that's going to be a pretty big boon to a lot of things. The other mechanic you get here is the Jem'Hadar Wingmen, which is another thing that it talks about. It says, Vanguard starships are issued to loyal Jem'Hadar Ace pilots. These expert pilots fly their own Jem'Hadar Vanguard heavy raiders in formation with you, never straying far from your side. Their extensive experience in team-based tactics allow them to execute powerful maneuvers for you. And then they have one where it's basically a micro warp to your side, and they initiate a scatter volley type attack and a cone in your forward arc of your ship, damaging enemies in front of you. Then there's a structural reinforcement maneuver where they increase shield resistance and apply rapid hull healing for several seconds. Can target any ally, including the other wingmen. Then there's the divergent shielding maneuver. It focuses on a target, draining their shields over several seconds while also weakening their shield resistance. Now it does say all maneuvers share a cooldown and only one may be active at a time. Wingmen cannot be ordered to attack specific targets, but will instead change their target parameters based on your chosen target. If one gets destroyed, they'll automatically rejoin after a short time. Now, I don't remember if they said what that exact lockout is.
I don't think they really state the lockout when you're in the game. Like, it doesn't appear in your lockout list or whatever, or your cooldowns, I don't think. But they're pretty strong to not really die that often, so it's like, I think maybe a few minutes, if that.
Basically, they're always on pets that don't require a hangar bay.
Right.
That come with every single Vanguard ship. Which is gonna be, wow.
Badass.
So yeah, that's...
where were we? Me giving a little bit of a talk about the Wingmen, I think it was. Yeah.
Really quickly, for those people that are seeing the local version of this that's going to be going up later, there's a small break in the recording there. I had a slight issue with my headset to where the local recorder couldn't pick it up and everything. Y'all couldn't really hear what was going on coming through the speakers. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it's like the headset gets stuck. I don't really know how to describe it other than that. I have to actually manually disable the device and then restart it. But anyways, picking up with Artie, good sir, take it away.
Okay, what I was saying about these special Jem'Hadar Wingmen, they're pretty great. I mean, they do all these special little maneuvers and whatnot, but when you're out on the missions, I tested it out on the one new mission as well as the intro mission for the Jem'Hadar, which I won't spoil, but in the space combat, they wrecked right through all the enemies. Like, I would target, I would fire my bit and do some epic damage, and then these guys would just come out of nowhere, strafe the same target, and poof, there they all go. Great. My thing is, I wonder if it works with the team. Like, does everyone in the team get one? If they're all Jem'Hadar with their own Vanguard ships, or is it only one person? Good.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
The Wingmen?
Yeah.
Everybody would get one, would be my understanding, the way this reads. The way this reads, it comes with the ship, not with, or with the, it comes with the ship assigned to the player, not on a per team basis kind of thing.
Because if that's...
And we have a late joiner this evening, and our resident Neela Datan
Hello,
has decided
Neela.
to pop in.
Hey, Neela.
What up? Hi all.
You just woke up, didn't you, sir?
Yes, I did. I needed the nap.
And Neela works long hours, in case anybody is curious, so he gets a pass as to why he's not been with us as much lately. But, anyways, getting into some of our ships now, we'll go over the stats a little bit. We've got the Jem'Hadar Vanguard carrier. It starts out initially as Dominion restricted, but after getting the Tier 6 mastery, anybody can use it. It's required level 50 to be able to claim the ship at least. The base hull will be 51,000 starting at level 60. Now they don't have what the level 65 base hull will be for these things. I wish they had that. Then you have a shield modifier of 1.35, which is actually a pretty high modifier and everything. Then you have a 4 forward weapons, 2 aft weapons layout, 3 device slots, a Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Ensign Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Science/Intel, Commander Science, and a Lieutenant Universal. For console modifications, you have 4 Tactical, 2 Science, 2 Engineering, and 5 Science. I can't words today. Then you have a 7.5 base turn rate and everything. You get 10 power to weapon and aux. You get the Universal Linked Command Matrix, as well as subsystem targeting, and 2 hangar bays. So you get that. You also get the carrier package and the Vanguard Wingman ship mechanic. So yeah, that's pretty decent on this one. Then the Linked Command Matrix, the passive ability grants hull capacity and critical hit chance with energy weapons. And basically what this does, if you're familiar with the Odyssey console or anything similar that allows it to essentially poof up its own little pet to follow it, this essentially does the same thing, except you're getting a Jem'Hadar heavy attack craft to back you up this time around. Then for the Starship trait, it is the Dampen Energy Signatures, and activation of Mask Energy Signature or any Intel BOF ability will grant your hangar pets a large amount of stealth, as well as significantly reducing their threat gen for a short time. Hangar pets do not break their stealth even while they are attacking. So I could perhaps see some carriers getting use out of this, but
Yes.
yes,
They will.
what's on our ship here?
I can already tell you there's going to be a bunch of BS with it.
Oh no, I like it mostly because it's got the 4-2 weapon layout instead of the traditional carrier 3-3. So it's like giving that residual, Dominion War, everything in front of it. It's hilarious. I do like their pets though. The pet seems very, very nice.
Oh, that trait though.
Yeah.
Cloaked elite for Joffrey.
Oh no.
I have a feeling
Here.
as to where he's going with some of those builds, because I get the feeling he and I are thinking some of the same ships, perhaps.
It's like, cloaked for Joffrey. Oh, where did that tri-cobalt device come from?
Do you hear that? It's Doom across the horizon.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not usually much of a carrier guy and everything. Not that carriers aren't good, it's just not usually what I fly. But this is actually making me reconsider that. It really is.
This is my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feels like it's a more aggressive carrier compared to like the Jupiter or whatever. The Jupiter, it has the 3-3 layout. It has a more broadside defensive look to it or feel to it when you're in combat. This feels like you're going into the combat. You're going to go fight whatever's in front of you, and it's going to blow up before you pass it.
It's basically a science dreadnought carrier.
Yes.
Is essentially what this thing is. But, like I say, that's one of our ships. We've got quite a few other good ones. We've got the Vanguard gunboats. It shows some of that stuff with them. Gives the Admiralty card, or Admiralty, just to annoy Kirby. Let's see, we've got our Dreadnought carrier. Got the Dreadnought carrier, the warship, Heavy Raider.
The
what's another... And then the Cardassian ships. What's another Jem'Hadar ship we want to look at real quick?
I would recommend the warship.
The warship?
Yeah.
Okay, let's scroll up to... There's the Dread.
It's right below the Dread.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so the other one we have is the warship and everything. This is one that I see myself using a good bit. It starts out at 46,000 base hull at level 60, shield modifier of 1.15. It has a 5-3 weapons layout. Then you have 3 device slots. For your BOF seats, we have a Lieutenant Commander Tactical / Miracle Worker, a Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, 1 Ensign Science, and 1 Lieutenant Universal. Then for our console modifications, we have 5 Tactical, 4 Engineering, 2 Science, base turn of 12.5, can equip dual cannons, plus 15 weapon power and 5 shield power. You get the Universal Power Dispersal Channel console. Then it has the Destroyer Mastery package, which is the accuracy, crit severity, crit chance, energy, and kinetic damage. And then the Starship trait. Now the Starship trait, everything, or the console, I should say, says activating this will briefly drain nearly all of your ship power levels and disable your starship, but will unleash a devastating burst of radiation and a long, wide cone in front of your starship. Foes unfortunate enough to be caught in this blast will suffer extreme radiation damage and have their power levels slowly drain over time. Console provides a passive bonus to drain expertise, critical severity, and healing critical severity. Can be equipped in any console slot, but only on Vanguard ships, and only 1 at a time. And then the Starship trait itself, activation of structural, or aux to structural, or any Miracle Worker buff ability will grant your team a reduction to weapon power cost for a short time. Yeah, thoughts on that ship, guys?
The reason why I'm talking about that ship, that Starship trait, because that means any Miracle Worker just heal, boom, we're all gonna get some good weapon power, decrease, and we're all gonna, wipe everyone out. It's great.
Basically, what he's telling me is if we run together, I've been voluntold to run that trait. Since I do use
we're all
going to
be running that trait. Can you imagine that if we all do that?
Yeah,
yeah.
We'll have to just test and see if that's active.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't even think about that as soon as I said that.
Yeah.
Does this badass maneuver stack?
Yeah, then let's take a look at one of our Cardassian ships. Which Cardassian ship do we want, guys?
I picked last time. You guys pick one.
Do you want the Escort, the Intel Dread, or the Deck Cruiser?
I think Flight Deck, but
Deck
what do you
cruiser,
think?
Yeah.
The Deck? Alright.
Flight Deck Cruiser it is. Alright. And for the record, folks, like I say, we're only picking a couple of ships out of this because there is a lot of stats. We would be here a heck of a lot longer if we went over all the ships individually.
And we all have a lot of stuff to
everything.
talk about with these ships. These are some good ships.
Alright, so our Gamora-class Cardassian Intel Flight Deck Cruiser and everything, it's, this is one of the new ships that they brought into the game for Cardassians. It starts out at 54,000 base hull at level 60, a shield modifier of 1.1. It has a 5-3 weapons layout, 4 device slots. You have a Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Commander Engineering / Intel, Lieutenant Science, and Ensign Universal / Intel seat. You have 3 Tactical, 5 Engineering, and 3 Science consoles, base turn of 8.5, 10 weapon power, 5 shield power, 5 engine power. Then you have the Cardassian Mobile Torpedo Platform as your Universal. You have 1 hangar bay loaded with Cardassian Yukawa fighters, or Yukawa, however the heck you say that name. Then this does have the Gather Intel Ship mechanic. This also comes with the Cruiser Command Array of Shield Frequency Modulation and Attract Fire, my 2 favorites. Then we have the Flight Deck Cruiser Mastery Package, everything, which is kinetic and physical resist, regeneration. We have the Hangar Launch Recharge and energy and radiation damage resist. And then the Calm Before the Storm Starship trait. So for the console itself, it is bristling with torpedo ports and will frequently unleash a constant withering barrage of photon torpedoes to or to target your enemy, words, to your target and nearby enemies and everything. My brain's getting ahead of my mouth and everything. This platform will frequently bombard your target with photon torpedo spread barrages. The console also provides a passive bonus to engineering readiness and a scaling bonus to shield power that increases as that subsystem's power system is decreased. That's a mouthful, but can be equipped on any starship, not just the Cardassians, but you can only have 1 of those consoles on the ship. Starship trait is Calm Before the Storm. While it is slotted, you will gain a stack of Calm every few seconds while in combat. Each stack of Calm grants a small amount of damage resistance. Exiting combat will clear all stacks of Calm. Once you have 10 stacks, all stacks of Calm are cleared and you gain the Storm buff. While under the effects of Storm, you will gain a buff to Bridge Officer ability recharge speed and weapon firing cycle haste. Yeah, I see myself using that.
For me,
Then,
it's going to
like I
depend
say-
on how fast it builds. What do they mean by every few seconds?
We'll have to test that too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to test it.
But, yeah, so that is, like I say, that's some of our starships. Now, I will say, and I think Artie and Neela will agree with me on this, because I know they've played the game, the Damar, and especially the Gamor, look like the old ships from Armada 2, don't they?
Yes.
The Golvestan and the Sartan destroyer.
Yep. I feel like that's where they got a lot of these design ideas, but they upgraded it to 25th century tech. So it has a lot more edges, a little darker hull look. You know, definitely a step up from what that was.
And you're definitely not going to hear me complaining, because, I mean, you know, I loved Armada 2.
Yeah.
So, now, one thing that is going to be coming, and this is something that I managed to ask about on the stream, with these new Cardassian ships, we are getting new flavors of spiral wave disruptors. For years, the only way you could get a spiral wave disruptor was to either have a Galore or a Keldon, and these are going to be coming with the new Cardassian ships. This was something they had talked about on the stream. And with this, we're going to have access, just to name a few, to spiral wave dual beam banks, cannons, and, of course, turrets. And from the way I heard Bordicus explain it, and the way I understood it, is that we'll have access to them, and they might possibly be re-rollable. He didn't for sure say on that. But he said he thought they might be. At least that's what I heard. So, yeah, we are definitely going to be getting that, so if you're somebody like me that likes spiral waves, you're definitely going to appreciate that.
Along with that, if you also like spiral waves enough that you want your hangar pets to have them, that's what you're getting with the Yukua frigates. Look at this stuff. I mean, the standard just gets the 3 spiral wave disruptor beam arrays, a photon torpedo, and a spiral wave disruptor beam aft, and then torpedo spread 1. That's great. Then look at the elite.
Oh,
It's beam banks. Haha. And then a 360 beam on aft. These things are beastly. They will they throw every other shuttle in the water at this point.
Yeah, like I say, you're definitely getting your bang for your buck with these ships.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I think we could harp on these for another good while.
Yeah.
We should. Yeah. But definitely check this blog out, folks. And everything. We didn't really have a lot of time to cover all the ships here. I mean, we would like to have been able to do that, but
we'll be fangirling for too long on just one article.
Yeah, and I doubt y'all want to hear me yakking.
Moving right along. Moving right along.
Phenomena. But anyways, we're going to move on to our Foundry Spotlight. Then we're going to cover two very important articles that we forgot in our notes. Everything moving along, we have our Foundry Spotlight, the Invictus Social Zone by Midnightic. I probably butchered your name, dude, so my apologies if I did. But yeah.
By Midnight TLC.
Which he's
TLC.
better known as Admiral Aaron.
Yeah.
Thank
yes.
you.
So yes, the Invictus
So again, my
Social
apologies, dude. I killed your name.
Zone. So for those unfamiliar, the Foundry does allow players to make their own episodes playable by other captains in STO. And in this case, so this person actually decided, instead of creating an episode, to create a social zone. So basically what he did, he didn't put any enemies that you can fight or any story you have to act out. Okay, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. You can battle on a holodeck or meet a host of interesting characters.
Yeah.
But you can hang out, or you can battle on a holodeck, or, yes. And
Meet a host of interesting characters, both original and based on the personas of your fellow players, and then a bartender of a certain German community manager.
Yeah.
ooh.
And then if you're bored of the socializing, you can summon a Borg raid all across the station, and then end it with a lovely walk across the starlit gantry.
Sounds interesting.
I tested out
Indeed.
this Foundry mission. It is great. I mean, there's some missions that are there that they reuse certain maps and just add their own stuff to it. This is basically custom made down to the T. Like, I could see why it's a spotlight. It's like he's got the detail down. You walk into a room and you're just like, I'm in a new place. I wish this was an actual map. And then all the way up to the gantry walk, it's a whole good look. I recommend taking your little Ryzian shuttle pack, whatever, the jet pack, and take a good look around the outside of the station. A lot of cool stuff.
Sounds like it's worth a play.
Indeed.
Yes, it is.
But anyways, moving on to the first of our very big articles. We actually have an event that people thought was a bug and everything until this blog hit. It was kind of sprung on us out of the blue. We have our Phoenix Prize promotion.
Yep, starting May 23rd and ending June 5th, you get to get your Phoenix Prize packs. They still cost the lithium. You can get them one for free at can't remember the person's name on DS9 or Drazana, but you can get one free there.
DS9, you talk to Ona, and Drazana, you talk to Grim.
You have a Teacher's Corner video about this, don't you?
I believe I do.
There you go. If you have any issues that I may miss, you have a Teacher's Corner video to look for. But how it works is simple. Players may visit the lithium store to purchase a Phoenix Prize pack for about 4,500 dilithium, or a pack of 10 for 40,000 dilithium. Every prize pack is character bound when purchased, and opening the pack will reward you with 1 of 5 prize tokens for varying rarity: epic, ultra, very rare, rare, uncommon, which has their own pool of epic cool stuff they get. Everything from emotes to special one-off items to previous fancy event rewards, and even ultra rare and epic ships.
Artie,
yeah?
I was wrong. I have not done one on the Phoenix.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh my lord, hell has frozen over.
Oh, we got something. We're going to get something for you guys then. I'll try to cover everything. But I will go ahead and just go over what you can get from the Phoenix Prize Pack. So we have that listed down. So, starting from Epic, you get the Breen Razoreth Dreadnought Cruiser, Tier 6. The Breen Sartheln, whatever.
Sartheln.
That, Carrier, Tier 6. The Kabali Samsar Cruiser, Tier 6. The Krenum Science Vessel, Tier 6. The Ferengi Nandi Warship, Tier 6. And the Vorgon Xiphus Escort, Tier 6. So that's what you get if you get the Epic token.
Double!
Well, we know who's on Rosanna now.
Or
Oh,
DS9. Yeah. That's the in the
God,
Endeavor
he's at
today,
Quarks.
wasn't it? Yeah. For Ultra Rare, you get the Jem'Hadar Attack Ship Tier 5, which I wonder how long that will stay in there for.
Good while, actually.
Okay.
I'll touch on that in a minute.
Gotcha.
But, keep going.
The Brain Gret Warship Tier 5, the Presh Breck Heavy Raider Tier 5, the Razian Corvette, the Luxury Cruiser, and then the Voth Bulwark Dreadnought Cruiser Tier 5. So that's what you get for Ultra Rare. Very rare, you get the very old Red Matter Capacitor, which is really nice when you need something.
Yes, please.
The Universal Kit Module's Crystalline Spike, which is pretty good on ground. The Zephyrin Cochrane Shotgun, which you guys may remember from a Mirror Universe event a while back, which is also really good on the ground. The Crystalline Energy Torpedo Launcher, which I believe is the anti-proton torpedo, right?
Yes.
Yep.
For Klingons only, you can get the Tritanium Rending Batleth, which is a very new, cool look for Batleths. A Young Nanov Vanity Pet for Romulans only. And the Mirror Universe Agony Field Rifle, which is also pretty good on ground. For Rare, you get the Crystalline Shard Space Vanity Pet, the Console Universal Crystalline Absorption Matrix, which I believe gives you 8 AP damage and resistance, I believe it was? I'm not too sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Console Tactical Automated Defense Turrets, which fires a plasma turret every so often at incoming pets and torpedoes. I don't think it works like the point defense. I think it's just an automatic.
No, it doesn't.
You also get the Admiralty ship VSS Tanis, which is the giant Citadel Voth ship.
That's a
The
good
Haki Mirror Universe Studio.
Play that.
Huh?
Just imagine if you could play as a Citadel ship.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
So that would be what, a 10-10 weapon layout, a good 7 or 8 different bridge
Take
officer
the
slots.
Citadel ship and beam it up to the ship and go through the ship breach.
Oh.
You see what I did there?
Now, see,
what I did there, Blade?
here's the funny thing. Every one of them in here knows that I would make that into a tank.
It is a tank on its
Yep.
own. You don't even have to try.
I know, but just imagine what I would do with it.
Yeah. But let's see, what else do we have for rare? You get the Hakiv Mirror Universe Duty Officer from the Mirror event a while back. The Mariah Kalara Mar Duty Officer. The Emergency Con holograms for both Fed and KDF. Aang the Vicious Duty Officer. The Automated Personnel Unit. The Tactical Exocomp Duty Officer, which is Federation only. And Goshi the Augmented Duty Officer for KDF only. And now we...
really quickly to answer a question in chat. Everything, as far as the Jem'Hadar versus the Cardassians and the races and whatnot, the Cardassians are just going to be a normal character for Fed or KDF and everything. And then as far as your Jem'Hadar goes, As far as to what reputations you get and what specs you get and all that will actually depend on what career path you take. So for a tactical, it's not going to be the same as a science. But you're going to get 2 reputations that are going to be maxed out at tier 5. You're going to get a specialization that's maxed out at 30 points. You're going to get 15 points into another spec. You're also going to get 3 R&D schools that are at level 15. So what you would need to do is pick up the DOFs and you could start crafting. Then you're going to get, obviously, you're going to get the T5U bug ship starting out with gear.
Really good gear.
You're going to get, yeah, really good gear too starting out. It's not the best. It's not ideal.
But you don't have to set up on another character just to get a starter on your Jem'Hadar.
It's gonna be good starting gear for out of the box.
Yes.
I'll put it that
for
way.
a newer player that didn't do Fed KDF that wants to just jump right into a Jem'Hadar, which we recommend you don't. We recommend you do a Fed KDF so you can see the tutorial of that, get a handle on the game first, since you're starting out at 60. But for the ones that don't and jump right in, it's actually a decent set.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, everyone is thinking this is more for older players. No, it's not. It is an expansion for basic anniversary of DS9, and to get more people into the game that want to do this and just jump in.
The best way we can think of it is it gives a lot of stuff to old players and new players alike and everything. It gives, for new players, a good launching off point to start, and it gives something fun for more experienced players to play with. Think of it, and I know this isn't the best comparison ever because of some differences between the games, but think of this sort of as STO's version of the Death Knight with WoW. You could start off as level 55 on a Death Knight. You go through, you would have at least a level 60 character, possibly by the time you got out of that zone. So they started out a little bit higher. It was recommended that you did not start as a Death Knight. Same thing that I'm going to recommend that you do here. Do not start as a Jem'Hadar and everything if it's going to be your first tune. Just because if you're starting at level 60, and even getting to 65, even though it's just 5 levels, there's a lot of stuff at end game to take in at once. And you could very easily, if you're new to the game, get overwhelmed if you don't know what to do.
Not to mention you won't even know what's going on with the story.
Yeah. But, anyways, like I said, I wanted to answer that.
But yeah, finishing off this article we have here, the uncommon section. Yeah, this sounds so uninteresting compared to what we were just talking about. You got your various different tribbles from over the years. Got a holographic combat drone, which I believe is just an exocomp pet, but it doesn't actually do any combat. You got the lithium encrusted Horda, which is the same thing, it's just a pet. A Mugado that's on a leash. The Phoenix Shuttle Vanity Pet. The Thoron Shuttle Vanity Pet, Type 8 Shuttle Vanity Pet. Many different emotes, which are pretty good in their own respect. The Space Combat Pet Fighter Squadron, which is basically, if you remember getting those Scorpion fighters from that Romulan mission, it's basically that, but for once you open them on, depending if you're Federation or Klingon, you get Peregrines or the Torju fighters. They're just devices. You don't have to have a carrier slot for them. Then you also get the Fleet Credit bonus pool, the Fleet Mark bonus pool, the Reputation Mark bonus pool, the Commendation XP bonus pool, and then finally, Phoenix Tech upgrade kits. Along with that, if you have 10 uncommon tickets, whatever, you can get yourself another Phoenix prize box with those 10. So, there you go. Also, if you have something like, say you have all the very rare, but you don't have everything of rare, you can drop down that one token to get the next one down. You'll get 2 of that same one, basically. Very rare will be 2 rares, and so on and so forth.
And we should mention as well, like Artie was saying, like say you've got an epic token, but you don't really see a ship that interests you there, or you have them all, whatnot, but maybe that bug ship and that Voth ship are calling your name. You can drop down that epic token to 2 ultra rares and everything, and then on down the line. You cannot, however, convert up and take an ultra rare token to an epic, so you can't do that. So once you convert down, that's it. But as far as the upgrades themselves go, if people are purchasing those, I would highly recommend that you hold on to those for your new Jem'Hadar tune and whatnot. And think of it this way: they're basically prepaid tech upgrades, is the best comparison I say to them. Because they're universals, they work on any school of item and everything. They give a heck of a lot of tech points and decent research, so yeah, that's my little tidbit on those.
Yeah.
And also, to follow up really quickly, and I'll shut up for a second, is to follow up really quickly on the other question in chat, as far as what reps and stuff that you should look for, I would say to go on Tribble and check it out, because yeah, that is actually something I did want to mention as well. Thanks for reminding me about that, good sir. But one of the big complaints I have seen people make, and this is something that people need to understand too, is although the ship that they give you starting out for Jem'Hadar is a T5U bug ship, it will not, and I repeat, will not unlock the hangar pets for the bug ship frigates, for the Jem'Hadar ships. It will not do it. Now, they had said going into this that this was going to be a different ship than the one that's in the Phoenix box and everything, so it is not going to unlock the thing. But even then, it's still a bug ship. It's still very, very good and everything. It's easily keeping up with any of the escorts that I have now and everything from our Tribble testing and whatnot. But I know a lot of people have been kind of complaining about that. But consider what all you're actually getting. And this has been kind of a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, that you know, there's nothing wrong with asking for it, but please don't get on their case about it and try to give them crap and talk bad to the devs and everything and all that, because that's not cool. I've seen far more of that than I want to see from people. But and I can understand the frustration, because I too have carriers, but trying to, you know, talk crap, give them a hard time, that's not going to help matters. But think of it this way: with the Phoenix event being as long as it is, you have a chance to get your Jem'Hadar attack ship now, have that ready for your Jem'Hadar tune, so you can get those pets. But if you guys do want to ask about it, please do it respectfully, please do it politely, and everything, because they've given us quite a bit of stuff this expansion. They've given us a lot of stuff for free and everything. You don't have to pay a dime for any of this. You can grind it all out if you want to. But yeah, just for me, I think that needed to be said.
Also, if you are looking for the more details between the carrier pets, the Jem'Hadar attack ship carrier pet, just the regular one and not counting the advanced or elite, they seem to have dual cannons and turrets and whatnot, while the new Vanguard gunboats are just beam arrays and torpedoes.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say too, to keep in mind, and again, I'm not saying this to bash anybody in particular, but just to try to explain some of the confusion, is think of it like this. It's basically a free ship that they're giving you for leveling. There has never been an instance where a free ship they gave you from leveling has ever unlocked what amounts to a premium tier reward, which is what you can consider the frigates. To say that they should is basically a comparison I can give. It's like expecting the free Sovereign that you get from leveling as a Fed to give you access to the wide-angle quantum torpedoes, or the free Defiant to give you access to phaser quad cannons. It's not going to happen.
There's also the thing that the Vanguard gunboats are not an actual player ship, it's just a hangar pet,
Right.
So they do look pretty cool, though.
And as far as the pets, I would say you could, comparing them, you can make arguments for either one, in all honesty. You really could. So I would say more testing would be needed. But coming up on our final article of the evening, we have, dun dun dun, our launch date of June the 5th.
Yes, this really doesn't come as a whole real big surprise. We knew it was coming soon, and if you'd been on Tribble, you may have seen the calendar where it kind of got kind of leaked. There was something mentioning a Gamma Quadrant, an event that started on the 5th, so this has kind of been speculated for a little while, but now we have confirmation. Yeah, so it'll be coming PC on June 5th, and later this summer to Xbox One and PlayStation. So you will get it sometime this summer for console players. But yeah, so this is...
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, not counting today and everything, at the time of recording this, we're looking at 10 days.
Yes.
And yes, that is TeacherKirby.
Yes. I am TeacherKirby. But, yeah, so, and this is going to include, you know, normal to the Gamma Quadrant, obviously the 12 actors coming back from Deep Space Nine, including Odo, Quark, Kira, and others, and of course the Jem'Hadar and Cardassian characters, the entire Gamma Quadrant as a battlefield in the new sector-wide battle zone, and the level 65 cap. And more. So I'm excited. How about you guys?
I just wanted to get here already. I want them ships.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I want them ships. I want to blow stuff up. And dang it, I want my spiral.
Okay, I'm just saying. My.
And yes, folks, that just happened. But,
Tell me I'm
in seriousness and everything, like I say, there is a lot of good stuff coming down the pipes and whatnot, but,
You guys will thoroughly enjoy it when it opens up. You guys will like it.
Plus, you know, account wide galore, I mean, what? You know. But, in seriousness and everything, like I say, that's the articles that we have for this evening and whatnot. We went quite a bit into some stuff, but,
Hang over a lot of stuff, yeah.
But, as far as them overhauling Dominion Polaron weapons, I have no clue, good sir.
Well, technically they did.
They might. Yeah, that is kind of true.
I
guess.
mean,
but,
would it be much of a spoiler if I tell them about the weapon things? The ones from the Reputation?
which... Oh, talking about...
The new Reputation, yeah.
The Gamma stuff?
I mean, technically those are...
Wouldn't really be a spoiler.
I mean, the minion beam arrays that you get from the mission, they're good and all, but if you want a better look and also a whole better kick, there's the Gamma Task Force Reputation that's going to come out with the expansion. those weapons there, you feel Jemadar, you look Jemadar, you're killing like a Jemadar. You got it.
Pretty much. But, anyway, as far as, like I say, we went over these articles in a little bit more depth than we normally do. There is a lot of stuff in them. I highly encourage everybody to go back, check them out and everything, so you understand what to be prepared for. But, moving along, we have our budget build of the evening, and keeping with our Dominion theme that we've been working with, and everything, we have a Tier 6 Breen Heavy Raider. Now, they have it labeled as the Plesh Breck. This should actually be the Plesh Trawl Heavy Raider. It's a little pet peeve of mine. But, we've been kind of going over some budget builds and everything that featured various Dominion ships, ships from the Dominion factions that they had, such as the Cardassians, the actual Jem'Hadar themselves, and then now we're taking a look at a Breen ship. Now, this particular ship, I tried to take it more middle of the road for everybody and whatnot. Wanted it to have good damage output, but also wanted it to be able to take a hit as well, so it wasn't a pure glass cannon. Now, as far as our forward weapons go, it is a 4-2 layout. We have a chronometric Polaron dual heavy cannons up front, the advanced piezoelectric dual cannons. Now, it says dual heavy cannons in the builder, but in game they are actually dual cannons. Then we have 2 copies of the Dominion Polaron dual cannons, which mean y'all get to hear Curland here a few times. Then, in the rear, we have a chronometric Polaron turret, and then also an advanced fleet Polaron turret, and everything. Then, for our shields, or engines, deflector, and warp core, and whatnot, we have, sticking with a Dominion theme, and one moment to fetch our resident
Sorry about that.
teacher a link. Everything. Her link was not working well for her for some reason.
Yeah.
But, anyways, for our shields, our engines, and our deflector, in keeping with a Dominion feel to the ship, and since we're using Polarons and everything, we went with the trusty Jem'Hadar set. So for our deflector, our engines, and our shields, we went with the Jem'Hadar set, which does provide some nice bonuses, and in my opinion today is still a very nice budget set for tanking early on, or even just for general damage output can be kind of nice too. I know that deflector is really nasty if you're looking for anything drain related. But then for our warp core and everything, the set itself does not actually come with a warp core, so we have to source one. And one of the better warp cores that we have on the budget end, and is why it's a staple here on the show, is actually the Temporal Phase Overcharged core. Now, if you had made a Delta Recruit some years ago, or you finally had your chance to make one here very recently with the replay that just wrapped up, you're actually familiar with a little device known as the Temporal Negotiator.
Price line
now, the Temporal Negotiator. Good Lord. He went there.
He did.
But for those of you that are familiar with the Temporal Negotiator, when it was activated, it would cut your bridge officer cooldowns in half for the duration. So that was the real strength to this warp core, is it gives you that in the form of the warp core capacitor. Then, as far as our devices go and whatnot, there's actually 2 of them and everything that you can use on the ship as far as device slots. Now, we like to think of devices as personal preference and everything, but there is at least one that we always recommend because you're going to have a real easy time of getting it through the story, and that is the Subspace Field Modulator. Now, the Subspace Field Modulator, whenever you activate it, it essentially gives a free neutronium worth of resistance while it's active. Now, however, it does also debuff you for a minus 400 protonic damage resist rating. So, it can be a bit of a double-edged sword depending on who you're fighting. Now, there's not a lot of enemies that use protonic damage, but it is still worthy of making a note. And since we've got our Phoenix event going on right now, Another device you may like is the red matter capacitor. And then there's other choices such as different batteries like the particle flood, energy amplifier, weapon batteries, engine batteries, armor catalyst, Gemini hardpoints. Quite a few, actually. But as far as our engineering consoles go, and as far as consoles go, we have 3 engineering, 3 science, and 5 tactical that we can play with for this ship. Now, as far as our engineering consoles go, we have a Trillium D plating. Now, this is a free console you can pick up from the Ragnarok mission. This is basically a neutronium armor and a field generator slammed into one console. It gives a nice chunk of damage resistance and a nice chunk of shield capacity, so it kind of gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds there in one console. And very nice for a budget ship. Then, for our other consoles, we have the assimilated module from the Omega Reputation. This is going to give a decent little bit of control expertise, as well as some critical chance and severity, is the main reasons we have it on the ship. Then we also have our piezoelectric focuser, which is a nice console from the Lucari Rep, and will complete our piezoelectric 2-piece set. And this particular console is basically a tactical console, a turn rate console, and a field generator slammed into one thing. So you're getting quite a bit of value out of this one particular console. And it essentially can function somewhat as an additional tactical console of sorts, when you think about it in that respect. Then, for our science consoles, keeping with the Polaron and keeping with the Drain, then we actually have 3 of the restorative particle focusers from our science lab, and these are the Drain X ×2 variety, and everything to keep with our Drain theme. If you want to pick up a little bit of extra EPG and everything, you don't want to go full-blown Drain, there is a Drain X and EPG variety that you can pick up and everything. Then, for our tactical consoles, we have the chronometric capacitor, which will round off our chronometric 3-piece. We'll take a look at our set bonuses in just a minute. And then we have 4 of the pre-fire chambers, because we don't yet have a mission that gives a Polaron tactical console. This particular console you get is a buff to cannon damage. You have to complete the Terminal Expanse mission in the Yesterday's War Story arc to get it. In order to view Terminal Expanse, you must have completed all of the previous missions in the Yesterday's War arc in order to see this. But that's what we have as far as equipment goes, and we'll touch base on our actual items in game so we can see our set bonuses. And as far as the... pull this up here, and I see a Gorn. Oh, good God. Fan dancing in front of me again. Kirby, why?
You have to ask.
Was I supposed to stop her,
It's
sir?
Kirby. What do you
Yeah, it's pretty much all I need to know. Now, as far as the 2-set bonus goes for a chronometric set, it's not the most impressive bonus ever. It is very nice if you like aux power and everything, but you get 3.6 aux power, and then you get an increasing aux power bonus as the aux power dips lower. It is showing 3.8 at the moment for me. Then for your chronometric 3-piece, this is where the power of the set comes from, in my opinion. You get, it's a 2-minute recharge, you get 7.5% exotic and energy weapon damage for 15 seconds. So, this can be very nice if you're trying to supercharge a gravity well, or just want to squeak out a little extra energy damage. But, it's actually pretty good, I think. Then, as far as your Jim Hadar set goes, we'll take a look at the set bonuses you get there. Now, for your Jim Hadar set, you're going to get the Dominion Synergy, and you're going to get the Anti-Proton Sweep. Now, the strength to the Dominion Synergy is it gives a 15.4% Polaron damage boost and a 30.7 Drain Expertise. So that's going to give you Polaron damage and Drain Expertise to boot. Then, your Anti-Proton Sweep, it's an AoE cone, 1.5-minute recharge. that does a bit of damage to shields. It zaps some of their shield resistance for 7 seconds, and disables cloak for 12 seconds. And it can be buffed by the drain expertise. Now, one thing that is worthy of making a note of, since we have the 3-piece, it won't actually be working on this ship since it's a Breen ship, but going into the new expansion, this is something that some people might actually kind of like. You have the Victory is Life power, which is a 1% chance to strip a buff while using Polaron weaponry. It only works on Jem'Hadar vessels, and the tooltip says the Cardassian galore, but I can confirm it also does work on the Keldon. So, it does do that. And to answer the question in chat, I am currently on PC at the moment. I'm actually sitting on a Breen bridge. Then, in case people are curious, this is the console that actually comes with the ship and everything, which, if you wanted to, you could leave this on the ship for extra Polaron damage and whatnot, and it will give a bit of extra control. But, and it does do a little bit of target, It does a little bit of damage to the target and everything for the jam sensor effect that it gives you. But, yeah. And actually, I know what I did plan on doing with that, and I screwed up the build slightly. So, we're going to rectify that, but I believe that was actually supposed to be in place of one of those science consoles. But, yeah. Anyway, rest assured, I'll have it fixed in the actual build. It's supposed to be in place of a science console. So, I screwed up. But that's what I get for building in a hurry. And then for piezoelectric 2-piece and everything, we have extra Polaron damage, photon projectile damage, and extra drain expertise. So it is actually rather nice. But, yeah. So that's what we have as far as our set bonuses and whatnot. But, actually, I know what you could do. Well, if you think you've got the defense, you could swap it out for the Trillium D. I don't know where my brain was whenever I left that console off the ship. But, anyway. My stupidity aside in this instance, I swear this doesn't happen a lot, folks. It's one of those days. But moving on to our skills and everything. For our skills on the Lieutenant tier, we have 2 points in hull and shield capacity. We have a point in shield and hull restoration each. It's going to give us extra hull cap and shield cap, as well as buffing our healing a little bit. We have 3 points in energy weapon training, which is going to be good. We have 2 points in improved EPS flow for extra power. A point in impulse expertise to let us get around a little easier. We have 2 points into control expertise and drain expertise each, which is going to boost our control and drain powers. We have 2 points in targeting expertise and defensive maneuvering each. This is going to offset some of the accuracy penalty to firing modes such as fall and scatter volley. And then we have the defensive maneuvering, which is going to make your ship harder to hit. In the commander tier, we have all 3 points in our hull plating, which is free damage resistance just by having these on your skill tree. Then we have 2 points into improved shield hardness, which is going to reduce the damage to the shields by a fairly considerate amount. Then we've maxed out weapon amplification and specialization for free chance and severity. Critical chance and severity, that is, for our weapons. Then we have a point into offensive and defensive subsystem tuning each. If you wish to, you could further specialize into the individual systems, but for this build we didn't. Then we have 2 points into exotic particle gens, which is going to buff any damage from our exotic abilities. We've also maxed out our long-range targeting sensors, which is going to reduce our weapon drop-off penalty by a fairly significant amount. Then you have your choice of either hull penetration or shield penetration. There is no right or wrong answer here, and arguments can be made for and against either one. As long as you have at least one of them, you're doing really good. Finally, for our Admiral tier, we have a point in core potential, which is going to be free power to all of our subsystems. Then we also have 2 points into tactical readiness and scientific readiness, which is going to give a fair amount of cooldown reduction to our science and our tactical-based powers. As far as our specializations go, we went with Intel Primary and Strategist Secondary. This is going to give a nice bit of offensive and defensive power to the ship as well, especially depending on whether or not you're actually in threatening stance. But then going over to, if I could, buttons this evening, to our traits. We have the accurate trait that is going to offset that firing mode penalty to fall a little bit more. Since we're rolling cannons, we have our cannon training, our deft cannoneer to gain turn rate and inertia when using cannon skills. Now, we always like to assume you've leveled at least one of the crafting schools with the character as you're bringing it up. In this case, we chose cannons as the school. Elusive for free defensive value. Fleet Coordinator for free damage based on the amount of people in your party, a 2% minimum if it's just you, or up to a 10% maximum if it is a full team. Then we have Nanite Repair Matrix from the Midnight Mission, which is very good. Nice little heal whenever we drop really low. We have Point Blank Shot from the House Peg mission, which increases your energy weapon damage the closer you are to a target. And then, as far as this particular thing goes, it is up to a certain maximum that you get the buff. Then we have the Grace Under Fire, which is actually the career-specific trait for engineers. This is because the builder itself actually defaults to engineers. If you are not an engineer, but you would still like to utilize the build, simply swap in your own career-specific trait, and you will be doing just fine. Then we have the Redirected Armor Plating. This is actually one of the new traits that you get from the Renegades Regret. Console players, you'll get access to this in, I think, 2 weeks. I think this was the... Was this the week 3 or was this the week 2 reward?
Week 2, because week 3 was the
week 2, so that is right. So yeah, next week you guys will have access to this one, and whenever you get hit and everything, it grants an all damage resistance rating when struck from the sides or behind. So if you're zipping back and forth in this little escort, this is going to be something that you might actually find useful in terms of survival. But that's what we have for our personal traits. Now for our starship traits, we're actually able to pick up 4 of them in this instance. We have the best defense. Our attack patterns grant a hull healing buff along with their normal effects. So not only are you potentially debuffing the enemy, but you're also being able to heal yourself for a bit more. Then we have the cold-hearted trait and everything, mainly just to throw it on there. But if you wanted to, you could swap out some powers, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But activating auxiliary power to emergency battery or any pilot bridge officer ability will cause your energy weapons to afflict foes with a debuff, which slows, drains power, and reduces damage resistance rating. Can stack several times for each foe damaged. Then we have the unconventional tactics. Activating Brace for Impact increases your damage for a short period. This comes from the strategist, and it's actually not a bad little buff that it gives to it. Then you have the improved predictive algorithms from Intel and everything. Whenever you're activating a weapon enhancement ability, gives your crew a burst of focus, removing 1 negative effect from your vessel and improving your ability to hit enemies with weapons for a short duration, so it basically gives extra accuracy. For our space reputations, we have the Advanced Targeting Systems, which increases critical severity. Then we have the Precision for free critical hit chance. Then we have the Chronocapacitor Array for Bridge Officer cooldown. reduction. You could also potentially swap this out with the particle generator amplifier if you wanted additional science-based damage or exotic damage. Then you have the Aux Power Offensive. This particular power is going to give an accuracy boost and damage boost based on your Aux power level. So very nice. Then for active reputations, we have the Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity. This is going to do a nice AoE damage to a ship and to any foes caught within it. It's a slow and physical damage, so can be very potent. We have the Biomolecular Shield Generator. This is the little green ball you see a lot of people use in missions like ISA and other such areas. That is going to reduce damage to the shields while you're inside the bubble and give a bit of shield regeneration while you're inside it. And everything. Then you have the Quantum Singularity Manipulation, which while this is active, it gives a plus 100 bonus to all science stats for the duration, and also gives a temporary cloaking effect. Now, to get more bang for your buck out of this power, and out of some of your powers, what you would want to do is you would want to throw maybe your exotic batteries and any other exotic buffs you have first, follow with Quantum Singularity Manipulation, then crack off a supercharged gravity well, and maybe even your anti-time singularity after that, and you'll get a lot more bang for your buck this way. And then, finally, since we have a lot of drain-based powers, we have the Refracting Tetryon Cascade, which is a nice little AoE Tetryon Blast, which will get boosted if you're using Tetryon-based weaponry and everything, or potential boost off of the Drain from the Drain X. So you have that as a nice little kick in the pants to the enemies as well. But, moving along to our buff seating. Now, for your Bridge Officer seats, you have a Commander Tactical, a Lieutenant Universal, Ensign Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal, and Lieutenant Commander Universal / Pilot. Now, for our Commander Tactical, we went with a Tactical Team 1, a Beta 1, Rapid Fire 2, and Scatter Volley 3. Then, for our Lieutenant Commander Universal, we went with a Emergency to Engines. I get those two confused. Emergency to Engines 1 to allow us to get around a little bit quicker. Everything, get some more engine power out of our escort. We have the Reverse Shield Polarity to recharge our shields in a pinch based off of incoming damage. Then we have our Emergency to Weapons 3, which is going to give a nice little chunk of power to our Emergency to Weapons, rather. I don't know why I said engines again. Emergency power to Weapons 3. I need caffeine after this. But Emergency to Weapons 3 gives a nice little chunk of weapon power, in addition to a boost to our weapons damage while this is active. Then, for Ensign Universal, we went with a Engineering Team 1. This is going to give us a bit of hull healing, as well as purging certain debuffs, such as the Viral Matrix that the Iconians love to throw around quite a bit. Then, for our Lieutenant Universal, we went with a Science Team, which is going to give a nice little bit of shield healing for the time. It's also going to purge certain debuffs, such as a subnucleonic-based effect. And we also have our Charged Particle Burst, which, when used on a large group of enemies, is rather effective at shield stripping, and just naturally being a kick in the pants to them. Then, for our Lieutenant Commander Universal / Pilot, everything. We have our Hazard Emitters 1. This is a nice heal over time effect, which will also purge Borg Plasma Fires. Then, for our Money Power, our Money ability, we have the Structural Analysis 2, which is a nice little debuff you can throw at foes. And then we have the Gravity Well 1 trait, which is also a nice little group up effect and everything. So, yeah, that's what we've got for our Bridge Officer powers. Now, if you wanted to take advantage of the trait and everything, you could swap out the Structural Analysis for a Pilot power. or an aux to battery type power and everything, but so that is one thing you could do. But like I said, I kind of made this, to answer the question, yeah, I kind of made this in a hurry, so I screwed a couple of things up. I admit that. But,
yes, you could easily swap out the structural analysis for something like Hold Together, or Attack Pattern
Apart.
Lambda, or Flyer Apart.
Pilot Team. But I say it's been kind of a long week for me, so yeah. Brain fart galore. I'm sure people aren't surprised by that at this point.
Well, not galore.
Yeah, overall thoughts from the panel.
Well, I was going to mention the lack of a pilot skill, but that was mentioned in chat.
Yeah.
And we covered that. Yeah. But other than that, no, it looks good.
Cold Hearted actually comes with the ship if you have the Tier 6. So you can unlock it from there. But,
that's
like
why...
I say, I'll amend... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's why that trait was included, because Cold Hearted is the trait that comes with this particular ship.
Yeah.
So...
that makes sense. Our guy doesn't have the ship, so that explains why you don't have the trait. I mean, yeah, you know. But like I say, this is more of a what-if type of build and everything.
I'm sure that they will add it eventually to the Phoenix box, since the Phoenix boxes are their way of addressing exclusivity of the events. So if you miss the event and we're not able to get this ship, you know, keep an eye out for it as they add items to the Phoenix box. I'm fairly certain that this ship and other ships like the Bajoran Interceptor and whatnot that you may miss will show up there eventually.
Yeah, like I say, that's as far as the event goes. And one thing I would mention, if you still have the project slotted, do not get rid of that project. You can still complete it. You'll just have to buy the marks from low buy.
Yeah.
Which is a pain in the butt, but it does allow you to get it done, and you would still benefit from the account-wide unlock. But as far as the little screw-ups and everything in the build, I am going to amend the notes. I'm going to put some notes in there and everything. And by the time you guys see this actually go up on YouTube and everything later, it will be fixed and everything. And that should not be a thing. So that I'm going to assume is actually a bug, and I will ask them about that. But anyways, as far as the budget build goes, that's what we've got for this evening. Again, I will have this corrected before it goes up. It's brain fart, that's all I can say. But anyways, as far as our costs go, looking at about a little shy of 1.5 mil and everything if you stick with structural analysis. As far as your deal, you're looking at 52,500 to build it, so about 7 days total build time. But anyways, as far as the bugs corner goes, for a guy in chat there, I am going to check on that for you just to be safe and whatnot. If you've completed the project and everything, then yeah, that will take it away. Otherwise, if you still have the project but you're not seeing the option to buy it, then that is definitely that's definitely an issue. That's definitely a bug. But as far as other bugs and whatnot, I'm actually working with some Tribble stuff to try to make sure there's as few bugs on launch as possible for you guys. make sure things get fixed really quickly and whatnot. Like I say, if you guys have any bugs related to Tribble, any of that stuff, let me know, let them know, so we can make sure this is as seamless of a launch as possible.
We got 10 days.
But
10 days.
yeah. But anyways, moving up on our last segment of the evening, we have the Teacher's Corner. What have you got for us this week?
So I actually did my Teacher's Corner on the Bajoran space set. So this was the set that came out with the episode Scylla and Charybdis. And it's actually a...
Yes, she pronounced it right!
And it's actually a very nice little set. It has some good boosts that go with it. The warp core, if you have it, is very nice. The warp core singularity core is extremely nice to have. And yeah, so I go over the all the set bonuses and the other bonuses, and it's completely re-engineerable. I love that. So yeah, but I go over all of those things with the Bajorans. Comments, questions?
As it is a newer set compared to some of the other ones, I'm glad we have this Teacher's Corner because it is a really good set. It has all sorts of cool things with it that most people just blow off immediately. You know, I mean, like you got hole scraping, you got the field that you get from the warp core, all really good stuff from just this one set. And you have it. Oh,
the two-piece bonus, the two phaser, disruptor, and plasma.
Exactly.
All very good things. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely check Teacher's video out and whatnot. It's, usually, her videos are very informative on everything. And, yeah. Been curious about the set? Definitely check this video out. You won't be sorry.
And like I said, it's completely re-rollable. So, like, like with my set, I went and took the shields and put all regeneration on them. And I think I took the deflector and put Drain X ×4 to boost the drain field. You know, I mean, so I played with some stuff, and if I don't like it, I can change those mods later. I love that.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And to answer the question in chat, we'll have a link to her video in the description once this actually goes up on YouTube. The way I don't care to tell you guys the way I do it, is usually we've got what you guys are seeing here in chat. We've got the live version. I usually do a local recording on my computer itself. That's usually what people see later on YouTube and everything. Or did somebody actually grab it?
I put the link in chat.
Okay, there.
I put the link in
Okay,
chat.
she actually grabbed it. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, you can check it out there, or or you can check it out later in the description. Everything, but yeah. But anyways, not actually going to have an RP corner this week. I think Artie and me had said.
Yeah, I'm not going to do.
Camera, he's prepping, but
I'm not going to do much of an RP corner until Victory Life is live because. Due to a lot of the testing, I actually now know too much of the story for the most part. So, like, it's not like a big grand plot twist or anything, you know, it's nothing that giant, but for, like, the state of the galaxy, you know, how the Gamma Quadrant is, how they tie all that together, why the Dominion here in the first place, I don't want to accidentally spoil anything with the information I know, so I'm just putting a pause on the RP corner until then. But to replace that, I actually have something for you viewers to actually tell me about. You may have already done a little bit of Tribble testing yourself. You might have played the first mission or so. You might even have Gemini characters or whatever. I'm actually curious what you guys think the story is going to go, because we don't get the whole campaign in Tribble just yet. And we've only gotten to see what the cool little feature red alerts are in the Gamma Quadrant. So we don't get to know the big, grand campaign story that we're going to get. I want to see what you guys are suggesting what the story would be, like where we're going to end up, how we're going to do certain things, how the fight itself is going to end up. So, yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways, I say that's what we've got for a show this evening. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and hopefully y'all can can forgive me for screwing up the build and all that stuff so badly and whatnot. I promise to have more caffeine next week and everything, and ready to go. But anyways, before we head out, a good shout out to our friends over at the Temporal Armada. Very cool bunch of people. Be sure to check out their radio program whenever they are up and running and whatnot. Very cool bunch of people, usually a very good selection of stuff. Also a shout out to our other good friends over at the Kurtang Pirate Radio. The party is there, and definitely good music selection on their part too. But also, if you've got requests for a budget build, please let us know and everything. Say, you know, hey, this is, you know, the ship I've got, I want to do a build for, you know, I've only got a bare bones budget, or maybe you've got a mid-range, maybe you've got a high-end, whatever budgeting area and everything. And as far as, you know, let us know, do you want pure DPS? Do you want a tank? Do you want Space Wizard? Do you want something kind of somewhere in the middle of the spectrum? And we'll try to help you out with that. If you have, if you think you have your gear and everything in order, but you just, you figure maybe if you could just learn to get to this one spot a little quicker, or, you know, you think you need help with your piloting, feel free to let us know and everything. You know, get a brief little video clip of your piloting to us somehow and everything, be it, you know, in a comment or something, or send it to us and we'll take a look at it and see about helping you improve in that area too. If you have anything as far as bugs, again, feel free to let me know, let one of these screwballs know. We'll be sure to pass it along to the devs and everything and whatnot, because they don't like bugs any more than you or I do, and especially with this expansion coming up, we want it to be as seamless as possible for us and for them. But if you have any requests for the Teacher's Corner, feel free to let her know. She does take requests over that and everything. Quite a few of her videos have actually come by request, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, actually they have.
Also, if you have anything for the RP Corner, any requests for that, feel free to let Artie know. He does take requests and everything. And may just do something over your topic whenever everything's said and done.
Yeah,
But
which,
anyways, folks,
real quick, to answer the little question about why we only hear the hurt with the Klingons, is that's the only one that's been really focused on. There is other stories, like you may read in the books, as well as some of the other fictional stuff with Star Trek, that you may see more of the hurt, but it's not only just the Klingons. That's the only one that we ever get to see in STO. But I may cover that next week, so stay tuned.
Yeah. But, anyways, folks, that's what we've got for a show this evening. I promise I won't be bumbling as much next week. I'll have more caffeine, all that good jazz. But, anyways, this is the Pilot Review Show, reminding you to have your tribbles spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.